What's going on, Collider Games fans? I'm Caboose, and today what I got for you guys here is my official review for Anthem. This is the new IP here coming from BioWare, and it's published by EA. I've had quite a bit of time to play the game. I've been very excited for this game, and actually to give you guys a little bit of a rundown of my timeline with Anthem in terms of me being introduced to it and where my excitement came from. Because honestly, when I first saw Anthem, when they first showed the trailer at E3 all those years back, it didn't really catch me, you know? They did one of those weird trailers where there's that fake dialogue between two people like they're playing online, and nothing about the gameplay looked to be something so spectacular. I was just not hooked. However, a couple of weeks back, we had the VIP demo, then the following week we had the open demo. I put in a ton of hours in that, and after that, when I finally got my hands on the game, was the moment when I was hooked. It was after that that I was like, oh my goodness, this is gonna be incredible. And I was seriously looking forward to Anthem. And now that I've had my hands on the game, now that I have the full game, I will say, on one hand, not as bad as people are making it out to be. On the other hand, I'm still disappointed with it. I want to start off with the things that I like, because like I said, I want to reiterate, you know, I feel that this game is getting a lot more hate than it deserves. There are plenty of complaints out there that are very well justified, but I think that there are a lot of people out there that just see the name Anthem titled for a video about this game and are ready to jump into the comment section to hate on it, even if they haven't played it, even if they haven't even watched enough of it to give an opinion about Anthem. They are there to hate on it because, you know, it's kind of the fun thing to do right now, to hate on Anthem. That is kind of the bandwagon to jump on. So let me be here to tell you that it's not all bad. There are still plenty of complaints that are well justified, and I will get into some of my complaints in just a moment. But to start things off with what I like, the movement is some of the best movement in any video game I have ever played. Jumping around, boosting around, flying, the gunplay, everything about it. It is so well put together. It's perfect. I could fly around in Anthem in free play for hours. There are plenty of times where I'm sitting there with a friend and I'm like, you know what? I really don't want to do a mission right now. Let's just jump into free play and, you know, do a bunch of public events and fly around because it is so much fun. It is just endless amount of entertainment there to just fly around. It feels so satisfying. You know, you can dip into the depths of the water, you know, go out through a waterfall into the open world. It feels so damn good. So kudos to BioWare for what they've done with the flying in this game, with the flight and the movement in general in this game. It's absolutely perfect. Is it kind of like an Iron Man simulator? Yeah, but I don't really necessarily think that's a bad thing, honestly. We all kind of want an Iron Man game, and this is as close as we're going to get to it for the time being, so why not enjoy the hell out of that? But not just the movement, the gunplay actually feels really great as well. The AI can be a little stupid sometimes, maybe a lot stupid sometimes, but the gunplay still feels really great. I love the different abilities that each javelin has at their disposal. You know, the Colossus is one where you can just shield bash everybody. The Interceptor has the unlimited melee, so you're up close and personal against the enemies non-stop. You have javelins like the Ranger or the Storm where they gotta have a little bit of range, but they can also be up close. You know, the Storm is my favorite so far. I love controlling the elements. He has the coolest super move as well. His ultimate is so good visually and in terms of just the satisfaction of using it in a gameplay standard. You see a crowd of enemies and just destroy them with his ult. It's so much fun. The gunplay, the movement, absolutely done to perfection here from BioWare. The graphics, just absolutely beautiful. There were a few times where I was flying into an area and I was just like, holy smokes, this game looks really good. I don't know about what the comparison is between when the game was first revealed to how it looks now. I don't really pay attention to that stuff, but I'll tell you, it's definitely not a Watch Dogs scenario. This game still looks beautiful, at times breathtaking. You'll find if you play Anthem that you'll have a moment, very cliche to what they'll do with like an E3 demo or an E3 presentation, where you stop in an area or you're walking up to an area and you kind of do that slow camera pan to see everything around you, to see how beautiful the environment is, because it looks that good. There is no exaggeration here. Anthem really is pushing the boundaries of what these consoles are capable of. You know, the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4. And just as I said, I can only imagine how much better it'll look on a fully rigged PC running everything at like max settings. This game probably looks almost real at that point. The customization is pretty cool. There are a lot of what we got with the demo for Anthem available here with the customization, and I really loved what we could do with the customization in the demo, so that stuff is still cool. However, I felt that they were just limiting certain things in the demo and that we were going to have a lot more options available in the full game, and that doesn't seem like the case at all. So let's consider this a 25% positive, all right? And I feel now is a good time as any to get into my negatives with Anthem, and I want to start that off. I want to kick that off with the story. It's very muddled. It's very hard to explain. It's very hard to understand, and they really don't do a good job at immersing you into the story of the game. A lot of what I can compare this to is Destiny. When Destiny first came out, very similar situation. Now, granted, I was like hardcore on Destiny, so I read up on the lore, I tried to learn as much as possible, but I know that there aren't a ton of gamers out there who are going to do the same, and I don't feel that I'm going to do that with Anthem. Just give me the information that I need to know. The opening 20 minutes, there's like a very big exposition about what the story of Anthem is, and it was all shown through like hieroglyphics, and I don't know why it was chosen to be done this way when they really could have visualized it a lot better and given me more of an idea of what the Anthem is, what the Heart of Rage is, who these freelancers are, where they've come from, and everything. I wish that we got a little more of a detailed explanation of this world, but it was a very quick, here's what Anthem's about, all right, this is the opening mission. You know, it didn't feel like I was immersed into the story enough to be able to care about these characters, specifically my own. It's just everyone lacks genuine motivation in this game. In fact, one of the characters you interact with doesn't like you because you literally saved his life. It makes no sense. The villain of the game is total run-of-the-mill, twiddling my mustache, I want to control the world kind of villain. It just doesn't work for me. Anthem's story is not up to par. It's not what I was expecting it to be. It's not what I was hoping it to be. And like I said, you can very much compare this to what we got with Destiny's story. It's a very ambitious idea, a lot of cool aspects to it, but all the lore, all the nitty-gritty to it, you have to learn from an external source outside of what the story itself will tell you. There are a lot of lore tabs that you can find out more information from, but I don't want to read up on Anthem. I just want to be shown it. Let me play through the story and understand this is what the Anthem is, this is what the Heart of Rage is, this is where the freelancers came from. I just feel like they didn't do a good job at explaining that information properly and allowing me to digest it properly. It also doesn't help that the missions are like 5 minutes and that's it. There are so many instances where I was playing with people and the mission was over and I was like, oh, that's it? Oh, okay, we're done. The end. It didn't feel like there was enough weight to each mission, like I was actually doing something. It felt like I was just running through, shooting a couple of guys, holding X on something, and we were done. That was pretty much it. You know, I just never felt like I was accomplishing anything with each of these missions, and again, that helps and attributes to the fact that I'm never invested in this story, and nothing helps me actually get involved with what's going on in this game. And oh my god, the hub world. There are so many people to talk to, and for some reason there are dialogue options. They don't really have any sort of impact on the conversation you're having. It doesn't really matter which option you choose, and most of the time, you're going to get so bored with the conversations that you're just going to be mashing the skip button until the person stops talking and you can just select the mission and accept it, or just be done with the conversation. It is so boring. A contrast to the high-octane, fast-paced gameplay to this is bad. Every time I'm done a mission, I loathe the idea that I have to wait through a loading screen, go to the hub world, run over to someone in this like very light jog, talk to them for 20 minutes, go back into a mission, load up, and then I can be playing it again. It's really, really bad. Now let's circle back to the customization. I do want to first say and mention that a little while back, we had made a video here on Collider Games talking about the microtransactions for Anthem, and we had mentioned that there was some outrage because at the time, an iteration of the microtransactions were leaked, and it seemed that to just get an armor pack, you had to fork over $20 or 60,000 in-game coins. Some people were trying to get at me and saying, well, it's just a cosmetic thing. You shouldn't really be complaining. If you don't like it, don't buy it. I hate that argument, first of all. But either way, a lot of people complained, and we ended up finding out that that was just an iteration, and the actual price for certain things in the item shop are upwards of $8.50. I think that's still a little pricey, and I'll tell you, it's really bad that I really only have about one option available to me right now for each of my javelins for customization. I only have one different helmet, one different chest piece, one different plating on the arms, one different leg armor, and that's it. That's all that I have available to me right now for each javelin. One different look to the character, to the javelin. Yeah, I can change them up with the paint and everything. Yeah, there are a couple of vinyls available, but that really does nothing other than change up the color, not the actual look of your javelin. And this is not just bad. This is abysmal. I guarantee this is probably because they want to introduce a lot of this stuff through the item shop, and they kind of want you to get to spend your money on the microtransactions because they're most likely going to sell this stuff for a ridiculous amount of the in-game currency. And I understand that the game is going to be releasing a ton of free DLC, so in order to be sustained, there needs to be some external source of money being sent in outside of just the game purchases. I get that. But earn it from me first, at least. You know, I really don't understand how the game could be released in the state that it is right now, with such a lack of customization, with such a lack of content after you're done the story. The end game stuff is not very good. It's not very end game feeling. So I just don't understand how they expect us to want to spend that extra money on the microtransactions for those armor sets to help this game sustain its 90-day post-launch plan of free DLC. Honestly, looking at the 90-day roadmap, this is probably going to be a great game in a couple of months from now. Anthem, I'm sure, is going to have a lot to try out for newcomers this summer. But I would much rather have Anthem just launch 90 days from now with all that content already added in and consider that the leaping off point where we can then continue and add more content. I would rather wait 6 months with a ton of content in the game than 90 days with no content in the game. Alright, the rant is over. We've gone over quite a bit of positives, we've gone over quite a bit of negatives, and now it's time to rate Anthem out of 10. I'm going to give this game a score of a 6.5 out of 10. Anthem is still pretty good, honestly. There is still a decent amount of fun to be had with this game, and if you have a friend who owns it, go over to their house, give it a try, or if they game share with you, whatever it might be, just give it a try, and I'm sure you're going to have some enjoyment with Anthem. If it goes on a decent sale, I'd say consider picking this one up. In the state that it's in right now, though, it just doesn't seem worth it. After you run through the story, there's very minimal endgame content to keep you invested, and you're just going to have to wait patiently for them to update the game with this 90-day roadmap that they have in order to have additional content added to the game that probably should have just been in there from the start. I really would have much rather this game have been delayed just a couple of more months so that they can get that content in there, and then we can work from that point on. There's just not a solid foundation built with Anthem to keep me invested, and I find that to be a really unfortunate thing. I was expecting to jump into this game hardcore invested, ready to play for months to come, and now I don't know if that's going to be the case. But that's it. That's my thoughts on Anthem, and now I'm going to kick it to you guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Have you had a chance to play it? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Again, this is all opinion. You're allowed to love the game. If you do, that's totally fine. And if you enjoyed this review, a positive rating would be appreciated. And you can subscribe to the Collider Games channel for more gaming coverage. I've been Caboose, and I'll see you guys later.